There is a woman somewhere in the world right now who does not know your name. She does not know your face. She has not heard your voice. She does not know that you exist. But one day, if God wills it, she will trust you with everything. She will build her life next to yours. She will carry your children. She will lay down beside you in the dark and believe with every part of herself that she is safe. And somewhere there is a child who does not yet exist, a son or a daughter who will come into this world having chosen nothing, not their circumstances, not their struggles, not the era they are born into, but they will have chosen you. Or rather, God will have given them you, and everything that you are when that day comes. Every habit you built or failed to build, every character flaw you addressed or ignored, every wound you healed or carried forward, all of it will flow into them. All of it will either give them a foundation or take one away. The man your future family needs is not who you become on the wedding day. He is not who you become when the child is born. He is not assembled in the moment of need. He is being built right now, in this season, in the quiet, in the years before they arrive, in the choices you are making today when no one who will ever depend on you is watching. This is about that building. This is about becoming, before you are needed, the man your family will need you to be. There is a question I want you to sit with, and I want you to be honest with it. Not the honest you perform for other people. The honest you are when it is only you and God and the truth of your own life. If your future son became exactly the man you are right now, would you be proud of him? Not proud of your potential. Not proud of what you plan to become. Proud of the man that exists today. The habits he has. The character he carries. The way he handles money, handles pressure, handles women, handles failure, handles his own emotions when no one is watching. The way he treats his body, the way he treats his word, the relationship he has with God. If your son became that man, would you look at him and say, "Yes, that is what I raised you to be"? Most men, if they are honest, feel something uncomfortable when they sit with that question. Not because they are bad men, but because they know the distance between who they are and who they are supposed to be. And they have been living in that distance for a long time without naming it. Name it today, because the man who cannot see the gap cannot close it. And the man who never closes the gap eventually passes it on to his son, to his daughter, to the woman who believed in him and deserved better, to the generation that comes after him, carrying weight he left behind. You are a man. That means the work you refuse to do on yourself does not stay with you. It travels, it goes forward. It is inherited by people who never asked for it and do not deserve it. That is the weight of what it means to be a man. Not just the glory of provision and protection, but the gravity of it. The serious, sobering reality that who you become in private becomes the world your children live in. Long before your family exists, they are being shaped by what you do right now. I want you to understand this because most men think of preparation the wrong way. They think preparation is something you do when the moment is approaching. You study before the exam. You train before the game. You prepare the speech before you give it. And so men think, when the right woman appears, then I will become serious. When the child is born, then I will get my life in order. When the responsibility arrives, then I will rise to meet it. But character does not work that way. Character is not something you summon on demand. It is something you have already built or you have not. And on the day it is needed, on the day your wife looks at you in a moment of real crisis, on the day your child needs the version of you that is steady and wise and unafraid, you will either have it or you will not. There is no assembly required in that moment. The man either shows up or he doesn't. Aristotle wrote this: "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." He wrote it about virtue. He was saying that virtue is not a decision you make in a single moment. It is the accumulated result of 1,000 small decisions made before that moment. The man who is patient in the crisis is the man who practiced patience in the small irritations. The man who is generous in need is the man who practiced generosity when he had little. The man who is faithful when tempted is the man who practiced faithfulness when nothing was testing him. The version of you your family needs is the version that was built slowly, over years, by repetition, by discipline, by the quiet and unglamorous practice of becoming, in the years when no one who will ever depend on you was there to see it. So the question is not who you will become when the family arrives. The question is who you are becoming right now, today, in the season before they exist. Because that man, the one being formed in this season, is the man they will inherit. There are things a father gives his children that have nothing to do with money. I want to talk about this carefully, because this is where men get lost. They measure their worth to their family in provision, in the roof and the food and the school fees and the vacations. And provision matters. I will not tell you it doesn't. A man who cannot provide for his household has a real problem he needs to address. The scripture says plainly that a man who does not provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. Provision is not optional. It is part of the covenant of fatherhood. But provision is the floor, not the ceiling. And the man who gives his children everything material while giving them nothing of himself has misunderstood the assignment. What a child needs from a father, what they need most desperately, what their entire sense of self is built upon, is presence. Not physical presence alone, though that matters. Emotional presence. The father who is in the room but unreachable is almost as absent as the father who never comes home. The child needs to know that their father sees them, that their father is interested in who they are, that their father is safe to approach with questions, with failure, with fear. And that kind of presence, that open, warm, available, undefended presence, cannot be faked. It is the overflow of a man who has done the inner work, a man who has processed his own wounds rather than burying them, a man who is not running from his own interior and so he can be present in someone else's, a man who has developed the emotional capacity to actually be with another human being without retreating into silence or anger or distraction. A man who has not done that work does not have that to give. He may want to give it. He may love his children deeply and genuinely, but love without development is not enough. The love has to be channeled through a man who is developed enough to express it. This is why becoming the man your family needs is not a selfish project. Working on yourself is not navel-gazing. It is preparation. It is the most important investment you can make in people who do not yet exist, but who will one day need everything you have built. I want to talk about what it means to be an anchor. In every family, in every home, there is a question that is always being asked, not out loud, but felt by the wife, by the children, by everyone who lives under that roof. The question is this safe? Is the center of this family strong enough to hold? That question is answered by the man, not by what he says, not by the speeches he gives about being a provider and a protector, but by who he actually is when the pressure comes, when money is tight, when relationships are difficult, when one of the children is struggling and the answers are not clear and the anxiety in the house is real, when his wife is afraid and needs him to be the one who is not afraid. In those moments, the man either anchors or he doesn't. An anchor does not prevent storms. It does not stop the sea from becoming rough or the wind from coming. What an anchor does is hold. It keeps the ship from being carried away by everything that is happening around it. And the people on that ship, they know when there is an anchor. They feel it. They rest differently because of it. They can be afraid in the storm without being swept away by it, because they know something is holding. That is what a man is supposed to be for his family. Not a man without fear. Not a man without doubt. Not a man who pretends everything is fine when it is not, but a man who can hold when the pressure comes. A man whose interior is built solidly enough that external chaos does not collapse him. A man whose faith is real enough, whose discipline is developed enough, whose character is formed enough that when the hard thing happens, and it will happen, the people around him feel the anchor hold. You cannot become that man in a crisis. You become that man in the years before the crisis. In the mornings you chose to get up when you did not feel like it. In the prayers you said when you felt nothing. In the promises you kept to yourself when no one was checking. In the discomfort you chose over the comfort you craved. In all the small, invisible, unglamorous acts of a man building himself, that is where the anchor is forged. And one day, in a moment that matters more than any other, your family will feel it hold. There is a man described in the book of Proverbs, not a king, not a warrior, but a man of character. And his wife is described this way. Her husband is known in the gates. He is trusted. He has a reputation. Not because he chased reputation, but because he built himself into the kind of man that reputation followed. And she is described as a woman who laughs at the time to come. She is not afraid of the future. She does not lie awake in anxiety about what is coming. She is at peace. She is confident. She is unafraid. Why? Because she knows her husband. She knows who he is in private, not just in public. She knows his character is not a performance. She knows that the man she sees in the good times is the same man who will be there in the hard times. And that knowledge, that deep settled knowledge that the man beside her can be trusted, gives her a peace that cannot be manufactured any other way. That is the gift a man of character gives to his wife. Not just comfort and provision, peace. The peace of knowing she is not alone in the most frightening moments. The peace of knowing the man beside her has not been built on sand. You are a man. That means the woman who will one day stand beside you deserves to know that you were building yourself long before she arrived. That you did not wait for her presence to become serious. That you honored the future she represents before you ever knew her face. That the discipline, the faith, the integrity, it was not performed for her benefit. It was already there, already formed, already part of who you are. and she is not a reason for you to become something. She is the one who gets to receive what you already became. That is what it means to be ready. Not perfect, not finished, but ready. Built enough, formed enough, rooted enough that she can rest in you and know that the ground will hold. I want to talk about the father you had, or the father you did not have, because for many men, this is where the story begins. Not with their own future family, but with the family they came from, with the man who was supposed to show them what a man looks like, and what he did or did not do with that responsibility. Some men watching this had fathers who were present and loving and consistent, men who modeled something worth following. And if that is you, you carry a gift and a responsibility to pass it forward and make it even greater. But many men watching this did not have that. They had a father who was absent, or a father who was present in body but absent in spirit, cold, disconnected, unreachable. A father who was harsh where he should have been gentle, or weak where he should have been strong. A father whose wounds became weapons that were used, perhaps unintentionally, on the people closest to him. A father who simply did not know how to be what his family needed, because no one had shown him either. And that absence, that wound, lives in you. You carry it whether you know it or not. It shows up in the way you respond to conflict, in the way you handle intimacy, in the patterns you repeat without understanding why, in the things you crave and the things you fear and the ways you protect yourself that are actually keeping you isolated. The question is not whether you carry it. The question is whether you will heal it or pass it on. Because here is the hard truth. A wounded man does not become a healed father by simply loving his children. Love is necessary, but it is not sufficient. The wound has to be named. It has to be faced. It has to be taken before God and worked through with honesty and time, and sometimes with the help of another person. And the man who does that work, who goes into the hard places of his own story and does not look away, that man breaks the cycle. He becomes the generation where something changes. He becomes the father his father could not be, and his children carry that forward. That is not weakness. That is the hardest and most courageous thing a man can do. To look at his own wounds with honesty, to refuse to let what was done to him become what he does to others, to stop the inheritance of pain and start a different inheritance. You are a man. That means the past does not have to be the future. Not yours, not your children's. Now I want to talk about what the building actually looks like, not in abstraction. In the specific, daily, undramatic reality of a man who is preparing himself for the family that has not arrived. It looks like the morning before the world is awake and there is no one to perform for and no validation waiting. The man who rises in that silence and prays, not because it feels good, not because he is being watched, but because he knows that a man with no root cannot stand when the wind comes. The man who builds his relationship with God in the quiet is the man who has something to stand on when the ground shakes. It looks like the body, the man who trains, who disciplines his physical self, who refuses to let the body become something he is embarrassed by, not for vanity, but because a man who does not govern his physical self is practicing ungoverned living in the most visible possible way. And a man who cannot discipline the body he can see will struggle to discipline the inner life he cannot. The body is not everything, but it is where the discipline begins. It is the first territory a man learns to govern, and a man who governs himself can be trusted to govern a home. It looks like money. The man who is learning to handle money before the family needs him to handle it well, who is building discipline in his finances, not because he is wealthy. He may not be wealthy yet, but because he understands that financial chaos destroys families. That arguments about money are among the most common reasons marriages break. That the man who arrives at a marriage with his finances in a state of chaos brings that chaos into the home. And so he learns now. He manages now. He builds discipline with what he has, so that when he has more, the discipline is already there to handle it. It looks like relationships. The man who is learning how to communicate honestly, who is addressing the tendency to shut down or to escalate, who is practicing honesty and vulnerability in his current relationships, friendships, family, community, so that when the marriage comes and real intimacy is required, he is not a man encountering it for the first time, unprepared and overwhelmed. It looks like faith, a real faith, not the faith of a man who goes to church occasionally and feels good about it. A faith that is engaged with, that is wrestled with, that has been tested and questioned and deepened. A faith that has cost him something, because the man who has a deep, tested, costly faith brings something into a marriage and a family that cannot be replaced by anything else. He brings a framework, a meaning, a reason that holds in the dark, a God who is real enough to pray to in the worst moments. And that is what his family will need from him most on the days when nothing else is enough. None of this is glamorous. None of it trends. None of it gets applause. It is just a man, in private, becoming day after day, stone after stone, morning after morning, the man his family will one day need him to be. I want to paint a picture of the man on the other side of this. Not a perfect man, not a man without struggle or failure or doubt, but a formed man, a man who did not arrive at his family unprepared. He stands at the head of his home, not by demanding authority, but by having earned it through consistent character. His wife does not follow him out of obligation. She follows him because she has seen, in 100 small moments, that he is worthy of being followed, that his word means something, that his faith is real, that when he says he will do something, it gets done, that when the pressure comes, he does not disappear into himself or into anger. He meets it, steady and present, and the family feels the ground hold beneath them. His children know they are safe, not just physically safe, safe in the deeper sense, safe to fail in front of him without being destroyed by his disappointment, safe to ask him the hard questions, safe to bring him the broken things. They know that his love for them is not conditional on their performance. And so they grow up with a security in themselves, a rootedness that children without that foundation spend their whole lives searching for in other people. He is not the loudest man in the room. He does not need to be. There is a weight to him that comes from substance, not volume, from having built something real inside himself that shows in the way he carries himself, the way he listens, the way he decides. People trust him not because he tells them to. They trust him because trust is the natural response to consistent integrity over time. He still struggles. He still has days where he falls short. He still has to apologize to his wife, to his children, to himself, to God. He is not finished. A man is never finished, but he is the kind of man who addresses the shortfall rather than denying it, who repairs rather than abandons, who keeps going, not because it is always easy, but because he understands what is at stake. That man is available to you. He is not reserved for someone else. He is not a category of person you were excluded from by the family you came from, or the mistakes you have made, or the years you spent not building. He is the version of you that exists on the other side of a decision. Not one decision made once, but the same decision made again and again. The decision to keep building, to keep becoming, to not settle for the man you are today when the man you are supposed to be is still unfinished. There is a prayer in the Psalms that has stayed with me, a prayer attributed to Moses, the oldest psalm in the collection. Moses writes, "Establish the work of our hands." Yes, establish the work of our hands. It is a prayer of a man who understands that the work he does matters, that the building he engages in is not just human activity, it is something God can take hold of and make to last beyond the man who built it. Establish the work of our hands. Make it whole. Make it count. Make it outlast me. That is the prayer of a man building a legacy, not a building, not a business, a character, a home, a family, a line of people who carry forward something true and good and rooted. Because one man, maybe an ordinary man, maybe a man no one will write a biography about, decided in a quiet season of his life to become the man his future family would need. That is the inheritance worth leaving. Not money, not property, not a name. A character that gets passed forward, a way of being a man that your son watches and absorbs and carries into his own home one day and gives to his own children. And they give it forward again, and on and on. A line of men who are rooted and faithful and present and strong. And it started with you. It started in this season, in the decision you make in the days after hearing this. You are a man. That means you are not just building for yourself. Every choice you make in private is a seed in the ground of a family that does not yet exist. Water it or neglect it. It will become something either way. The question is what kind of harvest you are planting. The woman who will trust you with her life deserves a man who took that seriously before she arrived. The child who will carry your name deserves a father who started becoming worthy of that name long before they were born. The time to begin is not when they arrive. The time to begin is now, before the wedding, before the child, before the moment of need reveals what was or was not built. Now, in this season, in the quiet, in the unglamorous daily work of a man becoming, God is watching how you build in secret, and what is built in secret will one day stand in public in the full light of a home that is held together by the man you chose to become. Go build. God bless you. Thank you so much for the support in the comments section. I read all the comments and it really inspires me to make this content more. Thank you so much. God bless us all.